and welcome to episode 21 of Bukkit for Beginners. It has been a long time since I posted a video. I think it's been like over a month. And before I jump into the lesson, which is going to be on timers, cooldowns, and schedulers, this is something that I've had requested quite a bit, so I figure I would do this. I wanted to just show you guys the new site that I have with a bunch of cool things on it. So the site is called BukkitLessons.com. I made the site myself using Weebly, and then I edited some of the CSS to make it, fit a little better. Oh god, man, I just ate like 40 pizza rolls and a big glass of milk, so I'm gonna be burping up a storm this episode. I apologize in advance. So anyway, this is my site that I made, and I'm basically using this site as it's for a few things. One, as a place for people that are like really interested in learning Java and Bukkit to go to have a place besides the Bukkit forums to go to for help, and also a place to put my videos. I have all of them listed here. If you click on one, you can play it right through the through the actual site. And then you can just simply click next episode or previous episode to go to the next or the last one. So it's a little bit easier, I think, than trying to find the YouTube videos. They're all right there. I offer private lessons, which is one of the main things that I made this site for. If you are really, really interested in learning Java and or Bukkit, and if you're really interested in it, or if you found that you aren't really understanding the videos, or if the videos aren't enough, because there are some people that don't learn very well through just watching a video. They need to be able to talk to somebody and ask questions like immediately back and forth. Then the private lessons are for you. They are $13 for a lesson. A lesson is usually around an hour, never below an hour. I've never gone under an hour, but I always usually go over by at least 5-10 minutes. Sometimes the lesson will be an hour and a half. It all depends on what we're covering. I'm not going to cut a lesson short just to keep under the time. I'm going to finish what I'm talking about. So these are all the questions you could have about it. So each lesson is $13, and then if you really want for an extra $2, I'll record the lesson with my screen recorder, and then I'll excuse me, and then I'll send it to you so you can watch the lesson over and over again. So all the money that I'm making from this is going right towards my college fund. So I'm kind of using that as I'm using it as a cool thing like that. Plus, it looks nice for any future people that would hire me to say that I started this little, I don't know, business thing, I guess you could say. But the main reason I'm doing it is to teach people. But if I was to offer lessons for free, I would have so many people asking me for lessons, I would never have a life, and I wouldn't be able to choose between people. That wouldn't be fair. So this is the way that I'm doing it, and it's going great so far. If you look under the forums, there's a reviews section, and I think Matt just posted. We did a lesson with him, or I did a lesson with him tonight. He just posted his review. Oh, look at that! Extraordinary. This word describes with lesson and teaching skills. This is awesome. So this is the first time that I'm reading it. This is great. Better, more than an hour than many professors could, both at high school level. So yeah, I've been getting really good reviews from people. So if you just want to read through those, if you are questioning if it's legit or not, I do my absolute best to teach you any way that I can. I'll re-explain something 100 times if that's what it takes for it to sink in and for you to understand it. So I'm here for you. I'm here to help you learn. So. If you want, I've had a few people ask questions about what an on-the-fly lesson is. An on-the-fly lesson is basically just actually, no, I'm not going to go into this right now, because I'm going to make a separate video that explains all of this. So, but I just wanted to get the thing out there. Really quick, I also do plugin requests if you want. They are not free. I know it's called a plugin request, but I can do a starter plugin, and I'll explain that in the video that I'm going to make about it a little more. I can write a full plugin for you, and I can also do a plugin walkthrough where you have a plugin idea and I will code it with you, like with you watching on TeamViewer and Skype, and then we will we'll talk and I'll explain like what I'm coding as I code it, so you can understand how it works, and then I'll send you the source files for it. I have a few downloads on here if you need a little about me, and then if you have any questions, you can contact me. So that is my new website. I hope you guys like it. Please join the forums. There's a questions section, a spot for suggestions, discussion, etc., etc. I want to get as many people on here as I can, try to build a little community outside of Bukkit. So that is the website. Let's continue on with this lesson, or video, whatever. Actually, you know what? I don't think I've done a video since I got this new theme, the whole dark theme. If you like it, I'll show you really fast how you get it. If you go to Help, go to Eclipse Marketplace, and then under where you see it says Find, just type in Theme. Enter. And then the things that are going to pop up, there's two things that you have to download. So the first one is this first one right here, the Eclipse Moonrise user interface theme. That's what turns the whole thing black. And then the second one is the Eclipse color theme. That's what's going to allow you to change the color of your text. So after you install those, you'll just go to Window, then Preferences, and then you go to General, click Appearance, then find Moonrise in here. Then if you drop down the arrow under Appearance, you can go to Color Theme, and this will allow you to pick all different styles of color. Some people like the Sublime text. If you have ever used Sublime, it uses their formatting. I like Obsidian. That's my favorite one, so I use that. So, alright. That's how you do that. Let's continue. So I wanted to go over timers, cooldowns, and schedulers. I've seen other videos explain this, like the BC Bros explains it. They show you that you can do something like this, the Bukkit get scheduler, and then you can schedule a task. That is one way to do it, and that way can be useful in certain aspects. But if there's a separate way to do it, where you can actually make your own class, where the whole class itself is a task, is like a scheduler that you can call and run at a certain time interval. And that can be really useful because you can put everything that has to do with that scheduler in the class. For example, in my Tower Defense plugin, I have a class that's called the Tower Builder, and that class is a task. It's like a runnable task that makes a tower construct itself over a period of time. But instead of having the code like jumbled up in a different class, I have everything nice and compact inside of a Tower Builder class. So all I have to do is create a new Tower Builder, and then I have a method in there called build, and then the tower is built like magic. So that's what we're going to work on today. So first, we're going to make our new class. We're going to do a timer first, and to illustrate the timer, I'm going to make a server scheduler where it's going to send a message every X amount of time. There's a lot of plugins that do this, like the auto messengers. It's pretty simple to do it, actually. So here's what we're going to do. We'll call this messenger. Now this class is going to have to extend the class Bukkit Runnable. Bukkit Runnable is a class that is in Bukkit. Now, quick thing, I'm not sure why my code is doing this, or my Eclipse, but instead of just doing a red underline, it highlights any errors in like bright red. And I'm kind of used to it now, but when it first happened, I don't know when it happened or why, but it's kind of annoying. It's like bright neon red. You can't even like hardly see the text under it. But I don't know how to fix it. I'm used to it now. So anyway, the class Bukkit Runnable is oh, excuse me. There's that pizza roll is coming back. Ooh. The Bukkit Runnable is a class that it has a method in it that it forces you to have, and that method is called run. So if you go here, it's going to want you to add unimplemented methods. It forces you to have the run method as long as you extend that class. really quick thing I don't think I've mentioned before, the override annotation is, it doesn't actually, it doesn't override it for you, but what it does is it lets the computer know that the method that's right below it, so this run method, you're trying to override a method from the Bukkit runnable, which is what we're doing, because Bukkit runnable has a run method, excuse me, but their run method doesn't actually do anything. What's wrong with my nose? Oh my god. What the heck? I think I like inhaled pizza roll up my nose. I don't think I'm okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I think I'm good. Get a drink. Hold on 1 second. Alright. I think I'm alive. We're good. So, the run method has a, I'm sorry, I was talking about the override. Oh my god, I don't think, what's wrong with my nose? Guys, I literally think there is pieces of Totino's pizza rolls stuck inside of my nose. I'm not sure what to do about that. I don't know how you explain that to a doctor. But we're gonna keep going, because this lesson is more important than the pizza rolls inside of my nasal cavity. So, override lets the computer know that you're trying to override a method from the superclass, which in our case is the Bukkit runnable. So, if I was to try to override run with 2 N's, it'll throw an error. It's not necessary to put override there, the add override, but it's a nice checker, because if you were to spell the method wrong, it'll let you know. So instead, I've seen people do this with the on command method, because when you do on command, you're overriding the on command method from the command executor class. So when you override it, if you were to put like an extra M, which I did before and it's a pain in the ass, or if you put like an N or something in it, it'll let you know that, hey, you spelled that wrong, and you're not actually overriding the method. So it's just a nice helpful checker. It isn't necessary. So anyway, the Bukkit runnable class is, it has this run method, and what you're going to do, the reason that you're extending it, is because this method, it's going to get run like whenever you choose to have it run. You can have it run like after a certain amount of time. You can have it run every X amount of time, like every X amount of seconds you can run it. So it's a very powerful method. So we're going to make our usual pass our instance of our class in here. We have our public messenger plugin equals plugin. Perfect. So this might not be necessary if we don't use our plugin, but I think we're going to, so we'll put it there for now. So anyway, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to send a message every X amount of seconds. So we have to tell the server what we want it to do every time it calls this run method, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So we're going to send a message to the server. Let's say Bukkit.getServer, and broadcast a message. And we're going to broadcast in blue, because blue is a cool color. Apples. We'll broadcast apples. And that's it. So here's how we actually use this class now. Go back to our main. We're going to have to create a new messenger object. We'll call this messenger, pretty obvious. And then we're simply going to say messenger equals new, make a new messenger. And it wants an instance of our plugin, which is this class. And now we're ready to do it. So when the server starts up, here's what we're going to do. Go to messenger, and you're going to notice there's all these helpful methods in here that allow you to run the task. So we're going to want to run the task on a timer. and it wants three things. It wants a plugin, which would be this, because it's a Java plugin. It wants a long number, it's a type of a variable, which will be the delay. Now, the delay is how long it's going to wait until it executes the code that's inside of this run method. So our delay is going to be 0 because you want to start immediately. And the period is how often it executes the run method. So we'll make it every 1 second. 20 ticks is 1 server sec, or I'm sorry, 20 server ticks is 1 second. So what I like to do is I like to do 1 times 20. So it's kind of useful if I ever want to change the amount of seconds. I can just do like 16 seconds or 15 seconds instead of having to do like, oh wait, what's 15 times 20 and then figure it out. You just do it like that. So every 1 second we'll send them a message. Now let's check it out. Go ahead and export. We're gonna reload, and you can already see it's appearing in our console. And then obviously when we go onto our server, let me just get localhost here. Why won't it let me connect? That's not nice. Lost connection. Try restarting my client. I mean, as you can see, it's executing, it's doing apples every 1 second. 1, 1, 2, 3, and it's just popping out apples. Now, the only problem is this is not going to stop. So how do we fix that? There's a way that's kind of nice if you wanted to make it run, let's say, 10 times instead of just keep on running over and over again. Why won't it let me connect? It just keeps says pinging. It's odd. I'm not sure. Let's stop the server for a second. Oh, Jesus. YouTube plugin. So, as you can see, it sent the message, so you can tell. But the way that we can go about getting it to only run a certain amount of times, we can set a counter. And what's great about using a class is we can put our counter right inside of our messenger class. So we'll call this, make a new integer named counter. Set counter equal to 0. Now, we're going to only run this, send this out, this apples method. We're going to run it if counter is less than 10. If it's less than 10, then we will, I just did Control A to select all of it, and then Control I to fix the indentation. So if counter is less than 10, we're going to broadcast the message, and then we're also going to add 1 to counter. So a second's gonna go by. Is counter less than 10? Because counter is 0. Yes, it'll do that. It'll add 1 to it, and then it'll just keep going until it hits 10, and then it will stop. But it's only going to stop printing, but it isn't actually going to stop running. So how we stop that is if counter is less than 10, do that. Else, we're going to want to cancel. Now, that cancel method comes from the Bukkit runnable class. So if you were to do this, you'll see this dot cancel. So that's how you cancel this task, and then it'll stop it. So that's it. This will run 10 times. So you know what we'll do? Actually, we'll do we'll print out counter and then apple, so you can kind of see the number counting up. Let's try it out. Zero apples, 1 apples, 2 apples, 3 apples, 4 apples, 5 apples, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it will stop. And it canceled the task. So that is how you would print out a message X amount of times. Is it going to let me connect? Nope. I I have no idea why. Whatever. We'll have to do it through the console, and that's fine. Actually, no, it's not, because I need to be able to get on the server to do the next part. I'm going to try running my other server, my plugin testing server. That's really strange. I don't know why that would not let me join. Yeah, I joined this one fine. I don't know. So, you get how that works. That's how you would do the messenger. You can put anything else you want in here. If you wanted to do like an array list strings, that would be messages. And then when you create the messenger, you could add things to the messages. Like add, I don't know, message 1. And then you can just cycle through this messages thing each time. So you could, here's how you would do that. You could do your counter, and then you would do something like this. Messages. You would get the index at counter. So if counter is 0, it's going to get the index at 0. And then you would make counter equal to the length of messages. So actually you could just do something like this. And then after you add your messages, you would do counter equals messages dot size. Then simply do, well, counter is less than, let's see. Oh wait, no. You would do like this. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Back step. While counter is less than the size of messages, you would print out the messages. Then add 1 to counter. Then if it's not, instead of canceling the task, because all you wanted to do is start back over, then you will simply just set counter equal to 0 again. And this will keep on cycling through this whole list of messages. Just like that. Nice, pretty simple. So let's move on to a cooldown. People use cooldowns for like a command, for example, and that's what we're going to use it for today. So we're going to make a new class. We'll call this hello command. Actually, I wanted to show you guys something. Check this out. Delete that. Watch this. If you go, when you make a new class, we'll call this hello command. And if you go to interfaces, what's wrong with my nose? Jesus. You go to add, you can implement the command executor right there. And when you hit finish, it'll automatically put the methods in there for you, just like that. Bam. Now I don't like what it calls it, because I call mine excuse me. There's something stuck in my nose. I know it. I can feel it. It's the pizza roll, I'm telling you. God damn, that's annoying. I gotta get that out. After this lesson, I'm going to go into my bathroom and blow my brains out. Not... Oh, that came out wrong. I meant with a tissue. I'm going to blow the snot at... Okay, forget it. So, this is called sender. This is CMD. This is our command label. And these are our arguments. We want to return true. Let's pass our main in here. Okay, all done with that. Now, we are going to say we want to set up a cooldown. So let's go back to our main. We're going to make a hash map. If you don't know how to use a hash map, go check out episode I think 16 is on hash maps. They'll explain all about them. So we're going to make a hash map with a string that represents the player's name and a boolean, which represents either true or false, whether or not they are allowed to use the command or not. So, actually, you know what? I just thought there's an easier way to do this. If you just use an array list of player names and call it players on cooldown. Aha! You know what we could do? We could even put this right in our hello command. Bam! Look at that. Alright. So what we're going to do, we're going to say if players on cooldown contains the, oh actually I guess we have to say if sender is an instance of player. Oh, we'll say if sender is not an instance of a player. So if the sender is not an instance of a player, then we will. Sorry, I'm just focusing on my nose, which, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I like ruining this lesson by my pizza roll nose. So if sender is not an instance of a player, we're going to print out in the console, you are not a player, and return false. And semicolons, Kyler. So now we're gonna make our player. We're gonna say if the players on cooldown contains the player's name. So if the player's name is inside of this array list, that means that they're on cooldown. So if it contains it, we're going to send a message with chat color red, saying you can't execute that yet, and then return. So if it doesn't contain it, it'll just keep on moving down the list, and in which case we're going to send the player a message saying hello and their name, because why not? And that is it. Actually, it is not. Kyler, you were incorrect. We have to actually add them into the cooldown and set up the cooldown after the command executes correctly. So, to do that, we're going to do Bukkit, get server, get the scheduler, which is an instance of the Bukkit scheduler class. And the Bukkit scheduler class has a method in it called schedule sync delayed task. That's what we want. Now it wants a plugin, so we're going to give it this plugin right here. The task is going to be a new runnable, and I'll explain how that works in a second. You're going to want to open up braces, the curly braces on runnable, because what you're doing is you're basically making a new class. You're making a new instance of the runnable class, but the runnable needs the public void run. It looks kind of funny, but yeah. So just watch that really closely. So we have our new runnable, close the parentheses, then open up the brackets, and inside of those brackets we're going to put this run. This is why I don't like using this one a whole lot, because it looks kind of funny. And in here is where we put the code. This is our delay, so we want the cooldown to last 5 minutes, so 5 seconds, so 5 times 20. Then, in the run, here's what's going to happen. It's going to get to here. What we want it to do is we want it to put the player in the array list. So players on cooldown. We're going to add the player's name. So now the player is in the array list. So if they go to try to use it again, it's going to say that you can't execute it yet. But right after we add them, we're going to start this scheduler. So after after 5 seconds, we are going to remove them. from the playlist. Whoa, oops. Now, this is an error because it's going to want you to make player final. All that final means is that it doesn't allow the variable to be changed. So once you set it, it's set. But that's fine because our player isn't going to change. You know, you execute the command and that's it. You have your player that executed. It's not going to change. But if I was to go like this and make a final int high, set high equal to 5, if down here I tried to make high equal to the 4, it's going to be an error because it's saying high is final. I can't change it. So we're going to change our player to final. We have a final player. So when they execute the command correctly, or successfully I should say, it adds them to the cooldown. Then it starts this timer. After 5 seconds, it removes them from the cooldown. Just like that. So let's test it out. Export next. We want to export this into plugin testing server. Alright, let's reload. Oh, it's printing out. Our message is, oops. That's awesome. Okay, so let's try. Oh wait, we didn't register our command. My bad. We have to get command hello. Set the executor to a new. That's going to be loud. Oh, we already have hello. Perfect. Okay. Let's go back here. Reload this. Alright, ready? So we're going to do hello. Hello, Appljuze. Now if I do it again, can't execute it yet until it removes us from the list, which it just did. And then, so we're waiting, 5 seconds goes by, execute it again, and now it's going to make us wait. And that, if I can stop dying, is how you set up a cooldown. So that's about all I got. I'm not sure why I put schedulers in the thing because these are schedulers. A cooldown and a timer is a scheduler. So that's all I got. Hopefully this helps out. Makes a lot more sense of how you would use a scheduler and such to make cooldowns and timers. Next plugin next video I'm going to start on the kits plugin. It's going to be a pretty simple one, and after that I'm going to actually explain how to use enums or enums, whatever you want to call them. They're this new thing that they're pretty advanced. They're pretty advanced, yeah. But they are so cool, and I just started using them quite a bit, and they're very useful. What an enum is like, you know, the like chat color dot aqua, that's an enum. So you can the reason I'm saying is because after we make the kit plugin, I'm gonna make it using a kit class, and then I'm actually gonna show you a different way to make it using the kit type or using a kit enum, which I'll explain after I show that. So that is all I got for you guys. Hopefully this helped a lot. Please check out this website that I got. Sign up on the forums. If you have any questions about it, just let me know, and I will answer them. So I'm trying to build up a little bit of a community here. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to make a video that goes more in depth about this site and how things work on it as well. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.